Senator Katie Britt, member of the Senate Judiciary Committee and member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. Welcome, Senator, and thanks for coming on. Your colleagues are going to have another chance today, this morning, to get this passed, or at least partially reopen the government with the CR. How do you think that vote will go?
Look, welcome to day one of the Schumer shutdown. There is no doubt we are in this position because Democrats care more about politics than they do about the American people. You realize that they asked for $1.5 trillion in exchange for 7 weeks of funding the government. Now, I want to make sure you heard that correctly. That is trillion with a T, not billion with a B. And this is more of the same for them. They brought a wish list of things that the American people rejected on November 5th, saying we make all of these demands in order to keep Head Starts open, in order to keep WIC programs moving, in order to keep federal workers employed. Absolutely ridiculous. This is why they have a 54% disapproval rating with the American people, because they just don't get it anymore. They've let the far left wing of their party start to drive the agenda. And I say it's a dark day in D.C. because the shadow of AOC looms large over Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats.
But if you hear from Schumer, he will say something otherwise. He says that last night's vote failed. He says he didn't mince words about the Republican tactics. Watch this.
Make up lies like saying, oh, we're for giving this health care money to undocumented immigrants. They know damn well that the law is that no Medicare, Medicaid, or ACA funds can go to undocumented immigrants. But they're so afraid to debate this issue. They have so many right-wingers in their caucus who don't want to do anything that they come up with these lies to divert attention.
So your thoughts there, Senator, on Senator Schumer's remarks, but also, is there a possibility some Democrats could flip here? I understand that there's still some conversations going on today.
They will flip. And you know what else Senator Schumer said last night? He basically called the New York Times fake news. So there's no telling what will come out of his mouth in the next few weeks. But the one thing that we know to be true is that if you believe in actually advancing and doing the work of the American people, you'll vote to keep the government open so that we can do this. This is not a failed negotiation. This is a CR that Senate Democrats voted for 13 times under President Biden. The only difference we have right now is who's in the Oval Office. And at the end of the day, they are letting their disdain for the Oval Office and this administration cloud their judgment about doing their work for the American people. Look, he's in hot water, not only with the American people, with his approval rating, but even within his own caucus. They know that this was not the right decision. And eventually, I believe they'll come to their senses and we can work to come together to do the work of the American people. We certainly have been doing that in the Appropriations Committee. We passed 3 bills on the Senate floor for the first time. This is before the August state work period, for the first time since 2018. Do you know how many bills that we passed in the entirety of Chuck Schumer's last fiscal year that he was the leader? It's 0. So we've already shown significant progress. And at the end of the day, the American people see what this is about. This is about his politics and his reelect. So it's a sad day for America, but we're going to keep working. We're going to put those votes on the floor. Okay. And eventually, I think we have enough pragmatic, common sense people that will move the government and open it again.
All right. We'll be watching for that, no doubt about it, Senator. You mentioned appropriations. Can I pivot to your work on judiciary, where there was a hearing just yesterday on what was described as blue city chaos and tragedy? A number of witnesses testifying and speaking out against what they describe as failure of progressive prosecutors when it comes to combating crime. You were there. What stood out to you in that moment? And what do you think viewers should know about what's happening across the country in some of these blue cities?
Absolutely. Well, you saw there one of the state elected officials talk about that from Memphis' point of view and from Tennessee, and talked about how damaging that has been to the community and how excited he is about what is to come. You also saw Mrs. Cook there, and I hope that you will play at some point today her words. She had her grandson, her very first grandson that was killed, 7 bullet shots to him, and she said no one cared. She said she showed up in the mayor's office. She stood outside trying to get answers, trying to get justice for his murder, and it fell on deaf ears until President Trump came in office. And when President Trump got here, she said people started to finally care. Here's what I have to say to all of my Democratic colleagues. These people within these blue cities deserve safety too. And we need to be doing everything we can, whether it is the laws we put on the books that hold criminals accountable, and ways that we can make streets safer. We owe that to them. You saw that loud and clear yesterday from those witnesses. And I think the American people are sick of soft on crime. They're ready for safe streets and strong communities. And that's what President Trump and Senate Republicans are going to deliver.
Yeah, absolutely. We're seeing that all across the country. People want their safety, and they want to know that they're going to be safe in their own backyard. Senator Katie Britt, thank you so much. We'll continue to follow the shutdown and see where it goes from here.